Hello and welcome to this special episode of our channel, where we are going to explore a controversial and thought-provoking topic, antinatalism. If you are not familiar with the term, antinatalism is a philosophical belief that considers procreation to be morally wrong because it causes suffering. In this video, we are going to explain why some people believe that we should stop having babies, and we are going to give you some real-life examples that will make you question your assumptions. But, before we start, we want to make it clear that we are not endorsing antinatalism, and we are not trying to persuade you to adopt this philosophy. We are just exploring it and presenting it in a creative and engaging way. So, let's get started. Imagine that you are a child, living in a war-torn country. You don't know when the next bomb is going to fall, or when the next bullet is going to hit someone you love. You are hungry, cold, and scared. You have no access to education, healthcare, or basic human rights. Would you want to be born in that situation? Of course not. But, unfortunately, millions of children around the world are born into similar conditions every year. Now, let's consider another scenario. Imagine that you are a person with a genetic disease that causes you to suffer from chronic pain and disability. You need medication, therapy, and constant care to manage your symptoms, but you can never be completely cured. You cannot enjoy life to the fullest, you cannot pursue your dreams, and you cannot contribute to society in the way that you want. Would you want to have a child who may inherit this condition from you? Of course not. But, unfortunately, many people who have genetic diseases still decide to have children, even though they know that there is a high risk of passing on the disease. These are just two examples of the many reasons why antinatalists believe that we should stop having babies. They argue that by creating new life, we are exposing innocent individuals to potential harm, suffering, and injustice. They believe that it is unethical to impose existence on someone without their consent, especially if their life is going to be full of pain, misery, and oppression. Main argument against having babies is that it perpetuates a cycle of suffering and injustice. Some antinatalists believe that by having children, we are subjecting them to a world that is plagued by war, poverty, disease, and inequality. They argue that children who are born into disadvantaged circumstances are more likely to suffer from physical and mental health problems, educational and vocational limitations, and social marginalization. Antinatalists also point out that some of the most serious issues facing humanity, such as climate change, nuclear war, and pandemics, are largely the result of human activity, and that by having fewer children, we can reduce the risk of these catastrophes. Also, antinatalists argue that life is inherently unfair and unjust, and that it is impossible to create a world that is free from suffering and harm. They believe that even the most privileged and fortunate individuals will experience pain and loss, and that the world is a fundamentally flawed and chaotic place. Therefore, they argue that it is better not to bring new life into this world, as it is impossible to guarantee that the child will have a good life, and it is morally wrong to expose them to unnecessary risks and hardships. Some other antinatalists also believe that the human experience is ultimately meaningless or negative, and that it is better not to exist at all than to exist and suffer. They argue that life is a struggle, and that it is impossible to find lasting happiness or fulfillment. They also argue that the pursuit of happiness often leads to greed, selfishness, and exploitation, and that the only way to escape this cycle is to reject having babies and to live a simple, ethical life. But, what about the joys of life? What about the moments of happiness, love, and beauty that we all experience from time to time? Antinatalists would say that these moments are not enough to justify the risks and the costs of existence. They would argue that life is inherently flawed, and that no amount of pleasure can offset the pain. They would also point out that the positive experiences of life are often fleeting and unreliable, while the negative experiences are more enduring and intense. So, what can we do? Should we all stop having babies? and let humanity die out? Antinatalists would say that this is a reasonable and compassionate solution, but it is not the only one. They would suggest that we can still make the world a better place by reducing suffering, improving living conditions, and promoting empathy and solidarity. They would also suggest that we can find meaning and purpose in our own lives, without relying on the existence of others. And there you have it, folks. We hope that we have managed to make you think, to challenge your assumptions, and to inspire you to learn more about this fascinating philosophy. Remember, we are not endorsing antinatalism, and we are not trying to persuade you to adopt this philosophy. We are just presenting it in a creative and engaging way. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. See you in the next video.